Hello, and welcome to Roseplay Presents Episode 58, the E3 2018 Conference of PC Gaming. As always, we're your co-hosts, Aurian MoonRose and Saul Wildfire. And here on Roseplay Presents, we do things a bit differently. Instead of having seasons and episodes, take your favorite TV show that did so well that it got its own made-for-TV movie or went to the movies. That's what we are. Here, we can have interviews with content creators, game developers, closed betas, E3 events, Adama's Review Corner, podcasts. I mean, just about anything. Sometimes outside of gaming, sometimes in gaming. Today, as I stated, we'll continue our focus on E3 2018 as we near the final three, starting with PC gaming. Well, you guys might like the games that are shown. I don't know how we're going to do. We're not too much into PC. I mean, I have started playing Steam a little bit, but even then, it's more of the older generation games, like Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, and Chrono Trigger. But, I mean, it's still something. So, rather than have this be like 3 hours long, let's go ahead and get started with PC gaming.
There is magic in PC gaming. It says, don't just obey the rules, rewrite them. It says, don't just listen to stories, inhabit them. It says, don't just accept the limits, overclock beyond them. It says, don't just play games, revel in them, unleash them. It says, seriously, is every game Battle Royale now? Or is it just me?
Is every
From
game
mountaintops
Battle Royale
to
now?
dungeons, from deep waters to
Yeah,
deeper
it does
space,
seem like it's getting there.
from solo quests to mass engagements, there is magic in PC gaming. Let's celebrate that magic together. This is the PC Gaming Show.
I like the opening.
Yeah, not bad. It was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. The beauty
And
of
now your
PC
host,
game. Wait,
Sean
is
Platt.
everything Battle Royale now.
Oh, hello to everyone online. Hello to everyone at the Will Turn. Welcome to the PC Gaming Show.
Now, I know he's supposed to be a little funny. He's hosted
Yes.
for the last few
Yes.
years. At least he pretends to try to be funny, I
My
guess.
name's Dana, and I'm your host today. I am delighted to be here. We have a fantastic show for you this afternoon. First, to all of you
Try to
coming to
raise
the
it a
Will
bit
Turn,
more,
thanks
I
for
think,
joining
maybe
us.
it
The
would
Will
take.
Turn is just a beautiful venue here in Los Angeles. To all of you online on Twitch, thanks for joining us. To those co-streaming partners, hey as well, I'm talking to you, Dropped Frames. Great to have you here. And of course,
Drop, right?
to all the wonderful sponsors that help make the PC Gaming Show come back again for the 4th straight year. Now, good on you.
4 years. Good for them.
Now, I'm not the only host here this year. I have my co-op partner up in the balcony. It's Frankie Ward joining us today. How's it going, Frankie?
Hey, Sean, I'm going to be up here in the balcony with a bunch of creative new PC games coming your way. From Warfare's latest update to some offbeat indie gems.
Frankie, we are so excited for the show to get started. We have over 30 games we're going to be looking at across
actually
the
not
next
bad.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Microsoft
let's get
had
it underway.
50.
Our very first title is from Coffee Stain Studios. Their game has
Coffee
absolutely massive construction as well as automation. Let's take a look at Satisfactory.
I can't get no satisfaction. It feels like Fallout already. Okay, it did. Now it looks like a escalator simulator.
Treadmill.
Or a treadmill simulator. Look, even goes with the beat.
Oh my god, this portal.
I was just thinking it kind of looks Borderlandish now.
Oh.
Now it looks like building Fallout. It's Border Out.
In the land of just cause.
In the land of just cause.
Okay.
See, even they're dancing to the beat. Even they're recognizing their defeat. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the old Sim City.
Yeah.
Except you can also go into like a third first person view. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Sand Dune Buggy Riders! Oh, that's kind of cute. Not sure what it is, but I'm just gonna call it a dragon. Interesting. Satisfactory.
Okay.
I guess now that I look at it, it does look like it could be a factory.
Joining me on the stage
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk about it is the game director at Coffee
Look,
Stain
Rose.
Studios. It's Oscar Gilsayan. Come here, Oscar.
Now,
Welcome to the
Yeah.
stage.
Well, I mean,
Thanks
it's gotta
for
be
joining
more
us today.
healthy, productive than an
Now,
inside
Oscar, I
factory.
just want to begin right away by asking, what is Satisfactory all about?
Satisfactory is essentially about building these huge automated factories. So you play as an engineer that's been sent from Earth to this alien planet, and you're going to build this enormous
planet?
machine. It's
an
built into
alien.
that at the end of the trailer there.
Yeah.
And to build that, you need a whole team
Well,
of
you might be
parts,
human.
which you need to build
well, yeah.
machines that will make them
It
for
said you are.
So you'll start out pretty
Okay. It
simple.
said you're a human sent to an alien
with
planet.
a few machines.
Yeah.
And then you'll just expand and
Engineer,
expand and expand until
something
you
or other.
finally you need to start cutting down
So it's like
trees
Sim
and
Planet.
replace them with like more convenient concrete.
And you know, for people who haven't played this type of game, can you give me an example of what producing a more advanced resource might look like?
Right. After a while, you'll need to create something more advanced, like a computer, for
Yeah.
example. And at that point, you'll have some copper stuff set up, your wires and cables. But to make
Actually, now that I look at it too, it also kind of looks like Minecraft as
You need
well.
to go out and you need to find this oil,
Yeah.
build some oil pumps and oil refineries, and set up a transport
Satisfactory
with,
Battle
self-driving vehicles
Royale!
between the outpost and your factory.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that scale because there's a lot of games where you build a house or a small town. How much area are we talking about where all your factories will exist?
Oh, this factory will grow enormous. The main part, which will probably be the biggest, will start spreading more and more and more. Or in some cases, we'll have players just building these massive, tall buildings.
I'm trying to figure out how much I can
on
get
the
away with
factory
on
floor,
sound.
factory floor. But including the resources that you need to gather from basically all around the map.
Yeah.
So you'll have vehicles driving all over.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask about the first-person perspective because these types of games typically are top-down. Why first-person?
We wanted it to feel like the player's the one building the stuff.
Oh, so yeah, they
And,
were
you know,
trying to
when
mimic
you
like a
build,
Sims
you've
type
built a bunch
game.
of stuff, and you can see these
Except doing it
enormous
first person.
buildings,
So that is an
structures
interesting
towering
twist.
above
I
you.
do give
But
that.
also, when you go out and explore, you'll be the one, like, you go through the
Probably more
underbrush
Fallout
and the
than
jungles and whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
in the trailer, it even looked like there's a lot more to explore.
Either
with
way,
different
I
environments and
definitely
biomes.
agree with
Yeah,
being
the
able to
map
explore
is,
your own
we
Sim
made a point to
City
make it big and
Yeah.
varied.
type
Yeah.
thing.
And it's about 30
It's
square
like if they took
kilometers
Sim
in size,
City and
so
combined
it's
it with
kind of
Sims.
enormous.
And, one final question. I saw multiple
And then a
engineers
little bit
there.
more.
How does multiplayer work?
Oh, it's a co-op game. So you'll start up a server and play with your friends.
Great. Now, tell us, how do we get our hands on this game?
So we got a closed alpha planned
It's
in the
free Fallout.
coming months. So
Free
you can sign
Fallout.
up for the alpha.
Yeah, because they haven't blown up the
satisfactory.com.
planet yet. Give it a few years.
Then you'll know.
Well, great, Oscar. Thanks for joining
Oh, wait,
me
no,
on
give it
stage
to
once
Fallout
again.
76
That is
when you can,
satisfactorygame.com.
find your own nukes and nuke
Now,
other
up in the
things.
balcony, Frankie, I understand you have our
Aw,
very first
what a
indie
cute
title
little
of the day.
Wayween
We do
dragon.
indeed, Sean,
Nuke,
because
nuke,
here's
nuke.
something we love about the PC platform. It's such fertile ground for creative ideas from small teams. NeoCab is an emotional survival game set in the future about gig labor, tech disruption, and the experience of being a driver for hire. Perhaps the last of its kind. From the brand new indie studio Chance Agency, let's watch the first gameplay trailer for NeoCab.
She does. She's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't look nice and whatever.
I don't like the constant smiling.
Yeah, no.
Kind of creepy.
That's kind of my whole problem with Clown.
It's the Purge.
The second Purge.
There's those creepy smiles going on everywhere.
You know, I was hearing that the first Purge is supposed to explain the masks. Why people wear the masks more.
To hide themselves.
Pretty much. They were sick because, you know, in case you don't want to get caught or something. I mean, obviously you aren't going to get in trouble for it because obviously everything's legal. But you don't want to sit there and kill your boss's family, come into work the next day and be like, "Hey, Joe, you murdered my family!"
Well, you think you killed him too.
You think? No. Stay on the road.
It's probably more so they don't know it's you.
Probably.
Because you don't want them to know that you're the one doing it. That you're the one killing them.
Honestly, if it's anything like me with sunglasses, how it makes me feel more confident and more there, it's probably also just to give a kind of confidence boost. You know, if you're sitting there murdering people, you walk by a mirror and see yourself, God, I hate myself.
Believe it or not, is in the Battle Royale genre. Of course, it's E3 2018, what do you expect? We have several Battle Royale games we're going to be talking about today because the Battle Royale format is very simple and very flexible. Players play in an ever-shrinking space until there's one last standing. So developers
or like the second Purge, the guy has God.
Explorations of what this could possibly be. And our very first Battle Royale game that we'll be introducing today has up to 1,000 concurrent players. It's from Automaton Games. Let's look at Maverick's Proving Grounds.
Battleground.
Yep. The first of a Battle Royale game.
Maverick's Healing Grounds. Wanna heal?
Wanna heal, stranger? I don't know, I just can't get into most of the Battle Royale games.
Yeah. Fail?
Maybe.
Fail.
Well, that's a weird gun. Now, to be fair, I didn't really watch much of this one. I was kind of shifting back and forth between this and Ubisoft since they were on at the same time. So this is still kind of more or less my first time watching it.
Yeah.
Kaboom! Well, yeah, I'd be running out of the building too if someone threw a grenade in it. Or at least apparently into another room since, you know, the since, you know, the grenade doesn't blow up the whole house. Meh.
Joining me on the stage
At
to talk
least.
about Maverick's Proving
It
Grounds
looks better
is the
than,
CEO of Automaton
PUBG
Games.
and-
It's James
I don't know
Thompson.
about Fortnite. I just don't like the building aspect in Fortnite. That's my biggest issue. I feel like I don't want to build
James,
in a
welcome. Thanks
shooter
for joining us.
where I gotta kill other
Now, I want to
people. I just
immediately
want
ask,
to kill
what about
other
excuse me,
people.
Maverick's Proving Grounds
I
distinguishes
want to
itself
destroy.
from other Battle Royale games.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you said, it's a very popular formula, and you know that last man standing kind of game type is incredibly compelling by itself. But Mavericks is really about depth. You know, we've already talked about 400 players before, and we're sort of super excited today to talk about our 5-man squad mode being 1,000 players. But really, it's about depth as well. It's about the fact that that environment is even a bigger step. The simulation and those elements sort of combining together.
Yeah, I want to zoom in right on the 1,000 players aspect. How does that really shift the dynamic from the, say, 100 that we're typically used to?
Well, it's really about combining scale with
That is a lot of
simulation,
people, though,
so the fact that
1,000.
together, what you actually have is a landscape that means you're making decisions off a lot more information.
Yeah, I mean, because you hinted at that twice now. Like, what do you mean by there's a lot more information in the environment for players to process?
So take a concrete example, right? So let's say a player's walking through the map, they'll be leaving footprints, they'll be displacing foliage, like grass bending. But siege-style gameplay in houses, that's like
he almost doesn't even look interested in this Battle Royale game.
It's like a recent history of
This
who
is
could
if
have
you're
been
at
here.
E3, go play
I want to ask
Why
about
would you be
what
watching
more
online
is in
if you're
store
there?
for Maverick's Proving Grounds. I understand that
Unless
this
they
is
have it on a
a lot
screen there,
more
too.
out-game features than someone might expect.
Which would be weird.
Yeah, so it's not just that.
It's
session-based
also
gameplay,
possible
you enter
that
the game through the capital,
the person
which is
wanted to get a
assistant
little
social
rest
hub.
and
So we draw
relaxation,
from the
or couldn't get
MMORPG
into the
side of things. It's really
PC.
it's a full world,
Because
not just a,
not everybody, but I
so
think
it's
some people
got
have to pay
consistent
for each
gameplay side
conference.
to it too.
Yeah.
So
But
you
really, it's
just
about
watch
bringing
it
this all
online.
together
Yeah.
into something which makes a much richer
I just thought it
MMO
was a little
experience.
Now,
awkward.
where can people go to find out more?
Well, we've just launched our site.
Can I
right
know,
now,
like,
so
the,
if you're interested in signing
game
up for the closed beta,
people,
you can do it
like
now at mavericks.gg/beta.
reviewers and editors and
And,
stuff, I
actually,
think
if
they
you
get
register
into
this
most
week,
of them
you'll
for
get
free
special
because
in-game
they're
content for free
press.
from E3.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we
But I
have
think the rest of
only
them have to
100,000
pay
slots
for
the
it.
first
So, I mean,
week
obviously, you got to
signing
pick
up,
and
so
choose
that will give you some beta
what
access,
conferences
but
you
also
want to
there are a lot
see.
more people than that on the
Yeah.
stream, so quickly do that if you're interested in.
Well, James, thanks so much for joining us. Once again, that's maverick.gg. Our very next game
sit there in one
helps showcase
conference
the
while watching
extraordinary
the other
power
one.
of modest Frankie. Tell us about it.
Kind of what I was doing.
On PC,
I was
we
kind of
don't
watching
just
Ubisoft
play
while
what's given to
slightly
us.
glancing over
We
to
mod games to
PC.
make our own experiences. And for many developers, modding is a way to turn a hobby
So,
into
I mean,
a career.
why not?
The Forgotten City is the perfect example. It's a standalone game that's a reimagining of a wildly successful
Both are
mod.
kind of boring,
In
though,
fact,
weren't
the
they?
first mod in history to win a National Writers Guild Award.
Well, I wasn't paying too
For
much
the
attention to
first time
PC.
Here's gameplay from the
I
Forgotten
mean, I
City.
know two games I was interested in that I saw out of the corner of my eye. I mean, Ubisoft wasn't as great as last year or the year before because of the hosts. But I mean, they had a few games that were kind of okay. So I mean, I guess they kind of neutraled out.
I'm so sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place. An ancient underground city. Its existence long forgotten. Searching for a way
It looks
out.
like it's a puzzle horror.
All I found is a
What's
window
this
into the
then?
past.
Hey, Portal.
Portal.
If even one person
Portal
here
3.
commits a sin, everyone will die.
Portal
I
Atlantis.
tried to set things right,
Statue
but
of
whatever I did,
I was gonna say more like
it took me
Portal
right back to the
Midas.
beginning. It's all up to you now.
Your Raider.
Go back.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's getting turned to gold.
Talk to everyone. Help them out if it'll win their trust. Bend the rules as far as you can. Figure out who's
Whoa,
responsible for
don't
this.
shoot me. What did I do?
You can do
Turn their
what I never
trust.
could.
Yeah, that's one way to earn trust. You gotta do what I say. I fully and completely trust you now. Ah, why'd you do that? I trust you even more. Yeah, no, I don't think that's how that's gonna happen. Forgotten City. Coming 2019.
Coming up on the PC Gaming Show. What's next for Killing Floor 2? And an unannounced game from Tripwire Interactive. And now your host, Sean Plott.
Did we, I mean,
Our
don't get me
next
wrong, I
game
like
is a blast
the
from
narrator's
past. It's not a
voice.
sequel or prequel
But
or
did we really
remake,
need him
but rather
back just
an entirely
to
new game
say the next
altogether.
game
Let's
when there's
take a
no
look
commercials?
at Stardock's Star
Okay.
Control
On
Origins.
Blot, everybody.
Long ago, the Singularity formed, its creators uplifted into something beyond
Did
our
you say the entity? I think they said the
beings,
entity.
now known as the Lexites, left Earth, traveling to multiple planets in our solar system, before vanishing altogether. This is why we are here. Welcome to Star Control, a state-of-the-art
another Star
international
game.
space
Get out of
agency
here.
tasked with the exploration of our solar system and the defense of Earth. Here resides the world's brightest minds and greatest technology, brought together by a strong curiosity to discover the
Barb.
unknown.
Barb.
Help us pioneer the future. Join today.
course not.
Hey, they gotta have games for everybody.
The construction of our new modular deep solar system vessel specifically for this mission. It's the fastest, most expensive ship humanity has ever made, Captain.
I am Chief.
It looks Fortnite graphics.
Yeah, no, it's definitely character.
I mean, which is alright if they make the character development good.
Oh my god.
Oh, you thought Medusa? I thought it was a pile of puke.
Oh my gosh, you're shooting aliens. Leave them alone.
I know, you don't know that they're bad, they're just insects. What'd they ever do to you? Alien spider.
In a delightful new spaceship.
You must be humans.
I think we just ran into Cthulhu.
Ew. Weird looking things. Origins, apparently.
Yeah. It looks like it's a building game, too. I mean, definitely like building planets and stuff, that's not bad.
Joining me to talk about Star Control is the director of production at
Star. I don't know, I might
Patrick
try it
Shaw.
if it was
Thanks
given
joining
me
on
for a
stage
free
today,
trial.
Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for having
I
me
don't really
here.
like
So now
space
just
games.
tell us
Yeah, I know
straight
you
up,
do.
what is Star Control all about?
So Star Control is an open universe action RPG. You can visit dozens of aliens.
Oh, it's an
hundreds of
action
different
RPG.
Stars, thousands of different unique planets, and you can land on each and every one of them. And when you're driving around the planets, you can jump over canyons, blast critters, and then you can venture out into the solar system and do ship-to-ship combat.
You can blast innocent creatures. That's the selling point of this game. Kill innocent creatures.
Open world. How do you make sure that the story still stays as the focus for the player?
Yeah, so we're really excited about the story that we prepared for Star Control. It's funny.
You wonder why Starship Troopers happened.
It also has some dark, sinister side to it. However,
actually, I think those bugs were pure evil, though, if I remember correctly.
Infinite universe. That is, we are fully simulating the entire universe at all times. So even if you're on some podunk little moon in the corner of the universe, the aliens are still moving around the universe, doing their own thing, exploring and interacting.
They're doing their own thing as you murder them. Yep. Hey, what's that alien doing? Looks like he's just sunbathing in front of the planet. Blast him!
Infinite universe is the glue that connects my story, my adventure to
That's awesome. Now, I know modding is going to be a big part of Star Control Origins. How does modding work?
So what's your favorite science fiction show?
Probably Firefly.
Guys,
so
why are we
what would
trying
you
to
think
kill
would make
innocent
Firefly
creatures?
season
They're
2?
just floating in space.
That's a lot of pressure for
Dead
Patrick.
alien cow flies on a,
Well,
You're putting me on the spot on stage right now, yeah.
We have, we can do it. So. But anyways, in Star Control Origins, you can create your own ships, your own planets, your own galaxies. You can package up your adventures and share them with your friends online.
So someone else can take care of Firefly Season 2. That's up to you. Now, last thing I want to ask about is how multiplayer works.
Right. So in the game, we have ship-to-ship combat, and that turned out to be so popular in our early testing. They're like, we should make this a separate gameplay mode. So we did. We called it Fleet Battles. So you can create your own ships. You build them out of different pieces and parts. You attach different weapons and defenses, and then you go online to play them. You can either play local.
Did they just crash into the planet?
Machine, or
I don't know.
Online ranked.
It looked it.
Play.
Where can people go to pick up Star Control Origins?
Well, right now, Star Control Origins is available for pre-order on GOG and Steam.
Well, lovely. Guys, definitely be sure to head over to starcontrolgame.com and check them out on Steam and GOG as well.
And one more thing, we are happy to announce at the PC Gamer Show that Star Control Origins is launching on September 20th, 2018.
Yay.
Look for it on September 20th.
Because nobody wants to put it on September 11th.
Now, our next game was
not.
PC Gamer's
Oh,
favorite
thank the
game
Lord.
from E3 last year.
Lifesaver.
It is Hunt Showdown from Crytek. Let's take a look at what's
maybe.
coming for Hunt Showdown just after E3.
I don't know, it sounds like it's a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. And it's new content, so that means this game already exists. New content coming. Killing innocent creatures. Why?
Oh.
Okay. There's a lot of crossbow throwing items.
Oh. Whoa.
Mutant? Well, dead mutant now. Blow up, blow up, blow up. Okay, that's a little cool.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. This is octopus?
I thought they were eels.
Oh, I didn't see. I don't know. I just saw a whole bunch of things wagging here.
We're just gonna call it Cthulhu again. Anything I can't explain is just Cthulhu.
Is not about to go out of fashion anytime soon. Guy, now Hellfire,
Cthulhu.
in fact, sorry, Archangel was originally a single-player narrative game, but Hellfire, this new edition, what changes is that going to make?
Well, players really loved the single-player narrative, but they all kept telling us the same thing.
Oh, he's awkward.
They said,
a little
we
bit.
really want it multiplayer, and we want it off
He's like
rails.
pausing, like
kind of thought,
William
it's a completely
Shatner.
different game. But let's give it a shot.
You can't decide whether to
so we
look
got
at
a
the
crack
camera or
team
to look
together.
at her.
They put something really
I choose
special.
her because
we got 4 maps. We got 6 different mechs.
She's creepy.
Tons of weapons. Where
Exactly.
You can just blast through the environment and other mechs alike. And it's really just an amazing experience. You can zip around in your mech. You can tower over others. It's just something special that I think you can try right now.
No, I'd rather he look at her because whenever he looks at the camera, he really creeps me out.
Correct. Yeah, it's coming
he's
out
like
on July 17th. But you can try it right now if you want an early access. Help us iron out the kinks and break some mechs.
Come at me, bro.
I am no good at ironing out kinks, as I think people at home can see, Guy. But as a heavy mech woman, I can't wait for you to be my light mech wingman in that 2v2 PvP. So let's take a closer look at Archangel Hellfire.
Oh, those things are weird.
Yeah, they are.
For sure. I guess people like the hole right there, but that's weird.
Yeah.
Weird to me, anyway.
Brutal team deathmatch!
Wow.
So it's a mech game.
Our next title is one I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It's from the makers of Sherlock Holmes, and it's a delightful-looking Lovecraftian mystery. It's called The Sinking City, and joining me to talk about it is the community manager at Frogwares, Sergey.
Especially this guy.
Welcome, Sergey. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah,
you've earned a handshake.
Yeah, you nailed that pronunciation.
I love it.
Okay, so I might be interested in the Sinking City.
You know, I want to ask right away,
if it's the people who did the 2 recent Sherlock Holmes games.
What makes the Sinking City different from what a player might expect?
Well, I mean, The Sinking City is an open-world action investigation game inspired by Lovecraft.
So Atlantis.
We believe that these 3 elements already make the game pretty unique. And you know, when I say that you can be a detective in a world,
yeah, I think it is. I think it's just another Sherlock game.
And, you know, cosmic fear. Like, I really mean it, because investigations are really at the core of the Sinking City.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of games
that guy's got a bloody hand
genre that are focused on action, but you say investigation is at the core. What are investigation mechanics? What does it look
crushed
like?
under my
the first
weight.
thing you should know right off the bat is that we are not going to offer any hand-holding for the player.
Down
We will not
came
give you
the
any clear
city
objectives
and
in your
crushed
diary or, you
his
know, markers on the map telling you
spirit
where
out.
to go or what to do. It's actually up to you to figure that out. Instead, we will give you information. You know,
actually, it kind of reminds me of
hints,
Murdered.
like clues, crime scenes to examine, like people to talk to, suspects to question.
Mixed with Evil Within, mixed with Sherlock.
To use your wits and your intuition to, you know, experiment with your findings, you know, maybe like find a way how to progress. And what you should also know is that finding these clues will not only help you understand what's going on and, you know, get a better understanding of the world and its people, but it will also help you maybe change the course of your investigation.
You know, you mentioned the world itself, and I mean, the footage that I've seen through the years has just been absolutely beautiful. Talk to me about the world that we're in and what investigation is at the core.
So the game takes place in this fictional city of Oakmont in the state of Massachusetts. You know, the city which is flooded. There is a terrible disaster going on which has claimed like thousands of lives. And also, like, it seems like it awakened frightening monsters which now roam the streets of Oakmont.
The Sinking City. White Knight
Edition. They are very
Oh
different,
my gosh.
like, different social classes.
Ew.
Gangs, cultists.
You killed a poor daddy Longlegs. It
They
can't
are
even
all
hurt
united by
you.
fear. You know, they're all
that thing
afraid,
looks
maybe
like it
except for the
can.
cultists, of course.
Yeah, no, it
They're
probably
all afraid
can.
that,
It's big. You can
It
smack
probably
it right
no, it
because
probably
they fly,
knocks
because
you
of the
down by
monsters.
tackling
And you
you
know,
and strangles
we
the
actually
life
want
out
to
of you.
understand what's
Start
going on.
punching in
We
that
want to
face.
understand what lies behind this ostensibly
sticks its arm in
supernatural
your hand or something.
plot. And what's even funny is
Wet
that
Willy.
while everybody's afraid, nobody
Oh,
wants to
his
live.
mouth
But this
is
is kind of
shut.
a different story.
Yeah.
Her?
Well, I
Mouth
mean,
is
you
shut?
talked a little
Her.
bit about the story world and how
Oh,
it's
yeah, her.
inspired by Lovecraft.
I couldn't even tell
What about the
if it had
game
short
mechanics?
hair.
You've mentioned the
Still
sanity
talking?
mechanic in the past.
Indeed, we do
I
have
think
a
so.
sanity mechanic which directly impacts
Weird.
gameplay.
You know, when our hero is under a lot of stress, when he sees like something
What are you saying?
something
I don't understand.
disturbing, or even when he's making choices in the story which he's not comfortable with making, you know, he will begin to lose his sanity.
Out.
He will start to have hallucinations, he will start to have distorted sounds, which
Nobody
will allow
needs
the player
those.
to understand that something is actually going wrong. Maybe we need to, you know, step back and do something about that. As of right now, we're still fine-tuning this mechanic because we're still looking, you know, for the sweet spot between impact on the gameplay.
Oh god, that guy looks
like
he has the plague.
Since we're almost out of time, I still just have to ask, what are the sweet monsters that we're going to get to see in the game?
Oh, we have different kinds of monsters. We have different kinds of archetypes. You know, with
This
different
isn't being my investigation.
And, you know, we actually give you tools. The game is not about fighting monsters. Investigation is the core of the game. But we give you tools to defend yourself. So we give you weapons, we give you skills, we give you even certain like traps. In return, we ask you that you make a decision. Because the game is about making a decision.
Hello.
Ammunition is scarce, and you will have to adjust your tactics accordingly.
So I know a lot of people have all sorts of questions about what the game is like. Where can they go to find out more information?
So if you're hungry for more, you can always follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. This is where we post our updates.
It kind of reminds me of Alone in the Dark, too, a little bit. Which was an old survival horror game. It got rebooted like 4 times.
I'm super excited to personally see how it turns out. Thanks for joining me on stage, Sergey. The Sinking City. Now, our next game is a PC title that has only gotten better over the last few years, and I'm always excited to hear what they have in store. Frankie is up on the balcony with the developers of Warframe. Talk to me, Frankie.
Warframe.
is home to some of the most devoted communities.
One of the people I know keep wanting me to play Warframe.
Best undoubtedly belongs to Warframe. Last year, the game got its first open world update, Plains of Eidolon, and the next epic cinematic quest is called The Sacrifice. And we've got the exclusive launch trailer for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Oh no.
This is free, for the most part. You're like a ninja.
This is weird.
Yeah, like I said, one of the people I know keeps trying to get me to play it. They want to play with me.
Oh, okay.
Apparently a Greek god transvestite.
Megan Everett, community manager at Digital Extremes, joins me now.
Because seriously, that girl looked like a dude.
So The Sacrifice is the latest installment of
our
cinematic quest.
It's whatever it wants.
The story that we started in The Second Dream, continued with The War Within, and then a prophecy prologue. So at the end of last year, we kind of shattered some hearts and left it with a bit of a plot twist. And I'm not going to spoil it for people who want to maybe catch up. But what I can say is that obviously from the trailer that you saw, the wait for Umbra, the 3-year wait to the Umbra Warframe is finally over.
Oh, Umbra, okay.
The creepy guy at the end of the trailer there, Ballas, plays a pretty big role in this quest.
Oh, it is a he, okay.
Again, not going to spoil a lot.
I kind of figured.
But I can say that it's coming this week on PC.
And you guys are actually currently waiting.
No, triceps?
As well as the update, you're working towards TennoCon right
I think it's triceps.
Yes, so it's going to be another big
I don't
for us,
either.
and I'm really excited for
I just know they're the opposite of this.
Last year's event to get an idea of what TennoCon is.
But we call these biceps, so...
Yeah, those must be triceps.
What do you think the mega reveal at Tenno Live is going to be?
Can you tell me anything about this Umbra thing that's maybe going on or whatever?
I don't even know very well.
Yeah, from what I know...
Amazing. Like,
Angry Joe.
Whole new direction for Warframe and all this. You got all these other games coming out, but this one's free. When's 2018 happening?
Oh yeah.
Get it started.
Yeah.
I did recognize his face.
Yep. He's one of the YouTubers.
Yeah.
Given that the
It
community
is actually.
Auntie Megan. Oh god. It must be huge for you to be
at least she done got a creepy
TennoCon
face.
is really special for
No,
really everyone that works at Digital Extremes. The developers pour their heart and
kinda good
soul
looking.
into what we do for TennoCon.
Yeah,
and
she's neutral.
I know for
Yeah,
me,
that's what I was. Well, I mean, compared to the other
best
one.
day of my entire career. I know Rebecca, our community director at home, is watching.
I mean, I'm not saying the other
but
one's
last year
bad.
when we did the
No,
she's creepy.
She's neutral too. Ninjas play free. I like that. She's neutral too, but yeah, no, the creep factor she gives off.
Oh my god, it's
and we actually, like, as people were cheering, it was pitch black on stage. Rev and I looked at each other and we just kind of fist pumped and both started crying because we didn't crash.
Honestly, I think you probably would like Warframe.
If you watched it live this year, if you're there, you can definitely probably count on some tears and some emotions because it's a really big day for us.
So basically, bring tissues, right?
Bring tissues for yourself, for me, for everyone involved, because there will be some tears.
But if you can't get to TennoCon because unfortunately it is sold out, how can you watch it online?
So on twitch.tv/Warframe, you can definitely check it out. And PC Gaming.
You know, that's always nice to
Facebook and Twitter.
And you get
have a YouTuber be part of the conference in some little way.
It's funny that one guy
fantastic. So that's
kept
happening from July 7th.
Didn't know when to look at the camera. She's always looking at the camera, and she wasn't looking at the camera at all.
No, she was literally staring at her the entire time, other than the end.
The next name is one I grew up with, Sega.
Yeah, that was awkward.
They've become a prolific publisher of Japanese games known for their fully featured ports, especially beloved by this guy on the left.
And his eyes are just weird.
Sega's bringing shining resonance both to PC and console the same day.
I mean, for girls, though, I mean, at least he's not bad to look at.
All sorts of games coming up.
No, of course
Let's take a look at what Sega's got in store.
He definitely looks stoned.
Yeah, he does.
His eyes are like...
His voice isn't too bad either.
Tired eyes. Or stoned eyes.
Oh yeah, I was happy about this one. Bayonetta, Valkyrie. We have Vanquish on 360. Tetris Papoyo. Shenmue is kind of a story-based game with some combat. I think you'd like that game. I want to get the Shenmue series when it comes out. Because I think it is coming out to either PlayStation, Xbox, or both.
I'd have to get over the
Asian part?
Yeah.
No, the part you're going to have to get over is him asking, where can I find sailors?
One picture?
It's part of the story, but it's a meme everybody uses. Like, literally, they make jokes about, where can I find sailors? You know where I can find sailors?
I don't mind the Asians, I just don't like the weird hair they have. And I don't know, every time I see an Asian, I always think, what is it? I keep forgetting what it is. Anime.
Oh, anime.
Every time I see an Asian now, all I think of is anime.
Well, I mean, I mean, even though every culture has taken a liking to anime, it is the Japanese and Chinese, I think Chinese too, that really love anime.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with anime. I like some animes, not much, but... Like, I'll watch anime, don't get me wrong. If I'm able to watch it, I will. But, I mean, there's very few things that I actually like.
Yeah, no, I had a few that I liked before, but...
Like, Death Note's pretty alright. I like the live-action variation, though, better.
Yakuza 0 is available for pre-order right now and will be releasing on Steam in early August.
Oh, crap. Sword Art Online?
Thus far. We have
I
so
like
much
the
more
first
great
season,
stuff
at
to
least.
come. Let's see what's coming up at this year's PC Gaming Show.
Coming up on the PC Gaming
Yay,
Show,
we got the narrator back.
Our publisher reveals 3 new games. And the first ever gameplay footage of Overkill's The Walking Dead. And now your host.
No, like I said, I like the narrator. His voice is soothing.
And I'm back.
Like Forensic Files.
Like Forensic Files, a
Guest
little
is
bit.
A regular here at the PC Gaming Show, having attended all 4 years. Frankie's with him up in the balcony. It's Tripwire.
Sean, if you are anything like me, you probably need to let off steam
No, it
every
was like
once
48
in a while.
hours.
And I
The guy
personally
had a
can't
really
think of a
good
better
voice
way to do
too,
it than by kicking
before
back
they
and
changed
tearing
him,
up
I
a
think.
load of monstrous
Yeah.
enemies.
48 hours has been on forever, though.
Photocopy it out of the window, and I, for one, prefer the option that
I
keeps
love
me
those
and everyone
types of
here
things, though.
in a job.
Their voices make
With
it
that
so
in
much
mind,
better.
I am
It
proud
does.
to welcome Bill Monk from Killing
Like, it
Floor
actually
2
brings
back to
meaning to it.
E3.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Got
Oh,
a lot of
Killing
fans in the
Floor.
audience
Oh, yeah,
still.
yeah.
Listen to that applause.
Yep.
They all want to know what
Killing
the
Floor 2 actually might be
latest
something
from
we might
Tripwire
actually
and Killing
like,
Floor 2
though.
is.
Yep, we've been really busy working on Killing
Oh, he's
Floor.
awkward too.
And we got 4 major updates that are
He's like
coming
that
out
other
this year.
guy.
The first
Yeah,
one we dropped in March.
but I don't
and
feel
we're
as
getting ready
much
to
of a
drop the
vibe
next
from
one
him.
really soon.
Coming
Nah,
tomorrow,
he's just
but what's
relaxed.
involved?
Yeah, and I
so
think
we're
that's
bringing the
it.
Summer Side
The
Show
other
back,
guy was
but this
weird.
time we're mixing Circus Freaks.
The
with
other guy felt like he was
steampunk in a
gonna
really
murder
fun,
you.
exciting way. And we have a really cool new system that we're adding. It's called the Weapon Upgrade System. And with
Yeah,
this, there's
talks
7
normal to
different
her, and then he
weapons
looks
that we
at
have
the
in our
camera, and
game,
he's like,
each one you
yeah.
can upgrade it and make it
I
viable for
see
later
you.
play. So it really
You
adds
see
a lot of
me. I'm
creativity
gonna
to
take
your
you out.
loadout. So I'm really excited to get that
Yeah,
in
where
people's
you
hands.
So you can make
fast.
your boy guns big.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Bill. Let's take a look at the trailer for Treacherous Skies Summer Sideshow.
The final scene of the show is just everybody looking at the camera, smiling.
No, her with the creepy perch face.
Too close! Too close!
Okay, guys, only computers want to use.
Welcome aboard the HMS Queen Victoria, ladies and gents. Ringleader Lockhart speaking to you from, well, someplace very safe. Yes, you helped me escape that
feel like
my
it.
beloved Steamland, but now I need your help once again. I've got to get to my island in the channel. Now, listen up. I don't know how, but these
like a rap.
circus
Yeah,
freaks followed us on board.
Yeah.
I think it's time to put
God,
on a
he's
show.
the clown?
Yes,
Yeah.
of daring deeds and horrendous
Yeah,
blood.
the zombies, it's the clowns.
Pretty much, and there's a few other things thrown in there too. It's supposed to be a good game from what I've heard. I think it's on the Xbox.
They're tough, even removing the head. Who put these rebellious robots down? But take
It kind of reminds me of the Joker.
I have invented some new toys. The Doomstick, 4 barrels of
The
veteran
Doomstick.
tools. The Static Strikers.
That sounds like it's
Really
from the
stylish set of gauntlets.
Yeah.
And the M99 sniper rifle. And finally, there's a last-minute addition to the crew.
Watch this woman go.
Seems Mrs. Foster negotiated her way on board and is set on giving Zed
Don't like the angry.
the business. And remember, we'll see you on the airship.
There's more than just the airship
Fussy,
though, but that's the
joke
new
for
DLC.
Optician says my eyes
Like I said,
are
I
okay.
think yes, the Xbox
Then
One
how do you
and
explain my
PS4.
husband?
I definitely think that would be a game you'd probably like. In
As
fact,
is tradition,
honestly,
the
if I took the
content that you
time to
just
actually
saw
try
will
it,
be
I think I would
available
probably like it too.
tomorrow, including a free weekend for PC this weekend. Definitely check it out with Killing Floor 2. But that's not all that
slower than
Tripwire has.
everybody
The
still.
president
He
of Tripwire
is.
himself, John Gibson, on stage. John, welcome back.
Props
again.
to him.
Thanks, Sean. Pleasure to be here.
Now, I understand that Tripwire is
No, that guy
stepping
kind of
into
reminds me of
also
Robert
doing
Englund,
publishing. What
just
does
a
that
little bit.
entail?
That's
Oh.
right. So, Sean, it's really challenging for
Like
developers
from the
right
side,
now,
he
with
looks like
thousands
Freddy
of games that
Krueger.
are coming out every
Not from the
year.
front, but from the side.
It's really hard to get noticed. And then you have the traditional publishing deals. So we're giving developers fair deals.
Yeah, see,
we're
you
going
can-
to
you can
be
do on bikes,
helping them
too.
rise above that noise so they can get noticed.
That's kind of neat.
And
Yeah, it is. A
because
lot of
of our
different
experience
gameplay.
developing our
Look
own
at his
games
head
and
on
publishing our
fire.
own games, we're going to
Well,
help
Sink looks
them
like
with
his head was on
marketing,
fire. He's
funding,
really Ghost
mentoring,
Rider.
feedback to help them succeed.
I was thinking Sweet
Yeah, I mean, the
Tooth,
game
but
we
now
have
that you
on
mention it,
screen is
yeah,
one of those games.
definitely
This is
Ghost
Road
Rider
Redemption.
too.
That is right. I'm happy to announce that we're going to be publishing Road Redemption. We're going to be helping them
Oh, this
grow
is a
and
different
succeed
game,
even
never
more on
mind.
Steam, but also bring the franchise
Oh,
beyond Steam.
what is it?
Now,
Road
I know today
something?
you have a world exclusive new game, hasn't been announced
We
yet.
do.
Look, his
Nobody
head's on fire.
knows.
Or
Yeah, it
the
is.
trailers. I wonder if you could give me a little bit of a tease.
Weird. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
so
getting points
we're
for it?
working with the team at
Looks it.
Blindside Games,
8.5.
and they're led by Alex Quick.
Oh, yeah, right.
So if you're familiar with the Killing Floor universe, you know Alex Quick was the modder that created the original Killing Floor
Alex
mod,
Quick or
which
Wick?
Tripwire worked with Alex
Wick,
to
I
bring commercial. And then Alex went off, assembled his own team,
can't even
made
tell
the
what
game
he's saying.
Depth, which was sharks and humans
Alex
fighting each other, very, very
Alex Quick.
successful. And now it's come full
We'll
circle.
call him Alex.
We're working with Alex again, and we're going
W.
to bring his all-new game to market.
Well, let's take a look at it right now. World exclusive new upcoming game from Tripwire.
World exclusive.
Yay.
Close your eyes and imagine a place
where the sun is bright and the beaches are wide. A place filled with southern charm, where the water is as warm as the welcome.
Dead Island
so
2.
Feel the wind in your sails.
Good job.
And relax. Enjoy the local cuisine. Your dream vacation is waiting for you here on the Gulf Coast.
Actually, it looks like you might be playing as the shark.
Really?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, you are. You're playing as the shark. Go to maneatergame.com now to book your vacation.
Maneater.
Are standing by.
Huh.
I've heard of Maneater too. I didn't know what it was.
I was gonna say, I think I saw a trailer
hey,
somewhere
John,
for it. I don't
so
know
you
if
get
it
to play
was
as the
when I was
shark.
skimming
You
over
are
or
the
not.
shark.
Is that only on the PC?
This is an open world action RPG.
Maybe we'll have to listen.
Where you play as a shark.
Yep, you play
or
the
as
shark.
we like to call it, a shark PG.
Oh, nice. Okay,
A
so
shark PG.
So do you like upgrade and improve the shark? Is there like skill trees?
You do. There is a shark skill tree. Really?
Oh my gosh, yes, we need
There
this.
is a full single player
You
campaign.
would say
You
that.
eat your way through it. You get
I'm gonna
bigger
give my
teeth.
shark
You
metal
can jump out of
teeth
the water
upgrade.
and snatch people off piers. And all
Now
that
I can
fun
fight
stuff.
through
I
titanium.
didn't realize this was a power fantasy I needed so badly.
Now when Penner says, bite my shiny metal ass, I can be like,
Where can
hell
people go
yeah.
to get more information about it?
You go to maneatergame.com.
All right. I
Shark
doubt
evolves
anyone will forget
into
that here.
Megalodon.
That's
my gosh,
maneatergame.com. John, thanks so much for joining me on
so
stage. And once
I
again,
don't know,
all the
but
content
it might do.
that
If it's
Tripwire
not, it might do well enough that it might come to systems at some point.
showcased earlier about Killing Floor 2 and Road Redemption will be playable here at
Or will this
E3.
need to get on
Definitely
Yeah.
be sure to check it out. Coming up next, Frankie
I'd be
has
fine
a
with that.
whole slew of unannounced games. Frankie.
Cheers, Sean. Man-eater looking tasty there. And I can't believe they named a game after my favourite weekend activity.
What is
Indies
this?
are at the heart of PC gaming, and next up is a brand new
I think
publisher
it's
revealing
Dimples.
3 games for the very first time,
Huge
releasing
one.
of them.
Like, that
for
is
Hate
literally the
Yourselves
Purge
audience
right there.
Today.
Yeah.
So let's take a look.
Wow, those are huge.
Hi, we're Untitled Publisher. Yes, really. That's our name. Publishers are boring, but games and developers aren't. So, we're curating games for you. I'm being as creepy as I can with this. Starting right now. We're announcing 1, 2, 3 games today, and releasing 1 game right away. Joy. And we'll get back to being boring. Huh. Okay.
Untitled publisher.
That was neat. A publisher with a, comedy.
Oh no. No.
And then it's Overwatch 2D.
What the heck?
I don't know. It looks like a fighting game.
It is. What's her
Wait. It looks like a Pokemon style fighting game. Or I guess you could just say a RPG. Bravery Network Online. Well, they had me until they said online. I was like, I could like this game. It's an RPG online. Nope. I'm done. Harvest Moon? Nah. They haven't made a Harvest Moon. Actually, they did make a Harvest Moon recently on
Planting
Steam.
Simulator.
Planting Simulator 2018.
I guess it's technically would be farming. Whoa!
Matrix Simulator?
It went dark real quick.
That did.
What? Installing turnip.
Wait, is this literally a farming simulator?
Well, that was awkward.
I think they just fourth walled.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Mega Man ripoff? Or
Whoa!
a bloody Mega Man ripoff? Okay. I guess this one looks interesting.
Yeah.
The hive is evolving.
Weird.
Yes, it is. Overwhelmed. A game by O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan Grundy.
O'Sullivan Grundy.
All these games look like must-plays. And Overwhelmed, the final game of the bunch, is available on Steam right now with a special launch discount. So make sure you check that out after the show.
Huh.
And if you're at E3 this week, head over to the PC Gamer corner of the Facebook booth inside the South Hall to give Overwhelmed a try. Right, next up, it's time for us all to take a holiday, and where better than a virtual resort with some truly spectacular wildlife. Back again this year, our friends of the show, Frontier Developments, with a unique take on the park management genre. I am, of course, talking about Jurassic World Evolution. The long-awaited game is out tomorrow, and
yes, Jurassic Park,
dinosaur-stuffed
The Sims edition.
What could possibly go wrong?
Jurassic World, you mean?
Or, I said park, didn't I?
Yeah.
To be fair, it is still taking place in a park.
Yeah, but it's world.
I know it is.
I think that things are going to turn out differently, huh?
Actually,
well,
I
the ones
wouldn't
before
mind
you did
playing
too.
Yeah, it just came out physically
because
today.
they believed that they were in
Well,
control.
yesterday.
And control.
Yep. I was watching the gameplay demo of it. It looks pretty interesting. You can take fossils, bring the dinosaurs back to life.
Deceived by
you can have them mate. You can study them,
really
change
possessed
them. Like if you just make one raptor and you don't make more raptors, they can get very
it's that nature is on its own course.
Unsocial.
And when we
so they'll break out of the fence and start killing other animals, or start killing your workers.
Oh,
So you gotta you gotta give it friends, but you can't give it too much friends, or else they start grouping together and getting too smart and break out and start killing.
Knowing the scope.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's The Sims basically.
What we're up against, and still believing that we can
with
win.
dinosaurs, which is kind of neat.
Boom.
And you get to make everything.
I know, however,
you get to make the fences, the park basically. Well, yeah, screw it. It is. You are making a park in the world.
I am so excited for that game. Our next title is
I have a feeling you wouldn't like that since you do enjoy the Sims
games for years, and they're going to try to take their expertise and answer the question.
And to be fair, there's dinosaurs, so
how do you make
I'd probably enjoy it here and there.
VR. Let's take a look at their upcoming game, Stormland.
A VR game. No, I don't remember. I really don't remember. I must have missed this part of my life.
No.
Oh, Insomniac Games. I guess that's not a bad company. At least.
No, but the robot.
You're the robot.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like robot games all too much.
I don't know, it just depends on the narrative and the story. If they can actually make a good story out of it.
I like destroying those robots on Borderlands. But
like Disney made everybody love WALL-E because it had such a good story.
No, I love movies sometimes with robots, but games
I don't know. I bet you if somebody did a story like WALL-E, I mean not literally like WALL-E, but something that really pulled at your heart, you could probably get used to liking the robot.
But they always make shooting games where there's no like actual thing to make you feel something.
No, and I agree with that. If they do that one, then I can understand completely why you wouldn't like the robot games. But I think we own 2 games somewhere, either physically or digitally, where we play as robots. But there's a story to it. Beyond Human. Or
literally Robot Uncharted.
Yeah. Detroit, Become Human. You play as 3 androids.
But at least he looks human though.
That's true. I suppose you are right on that.
At least he has the human form. I'm fine with passing Robot passing. Or if he looks like he's
right.
I just don't like the looks of him.
Well, I mean, this game really isn't impressing me too much.
Oh my god, it's all out.
It does look it a little bit. I mean, at least it's in VR, so I mean, at least you feel like you're the robot.
I guess.
Coming to a computer near nowhere.
Huh. Yay.
I didn't know it was possible to claim your world, because I was pretty sure that somebody created you.
Joining me to talk about Stormland is the Chief Creative Officer at Insomniac Games. Join me in welcoming Chad Desern.
Or it's the mirror from Oculus.
Huh.
Hey, Chad, welcome to the stage. Thank you. I want to start right away and ask, what is this game all about?
Well, in Stormland, you play as an android gardener, and an entity called the Tempest uproots your habitat and shatters your android body. So you've got to travel to a civilization above the Thunderheads to repair yourself and save your friends.
Yep.
And I want to ask what open world means in VR.
Sometimes.
Well, for us, it's about giving the player the ability to explore the world freely
with
a set of android movement abilities that are designed to give you complete agency.
Yeah, because that's always a huge question I have is how does motion work in any VR title?
Yeah, well, in Stormland, you can do things like fly just above the slipstream with your outstretched android hands.
Yeah.
You can shoot a laser into the cloud surface and then make a ramp, kick off of that. Climb up a cliffside, like literally launching yourself with your synthetic android strength.
Yes.
And then like push off and glide back down using your hands to control your descent.
It's massive freedom of movement, yeah.
That's it. It's this set of mechanics that are designed together to work fluidly so that movement
and then you shoot yourself in the head.
And you can kind of take the world.
How does this gun work?
I'm curious why VR?
Game over.
There are a series of things that we're doing with Stormland that we could only do in VR. It's about the expressiveness of having tracked head and hands and how we use that for combat, how we use it for movement, even things like scavenging technology to attach it to your body. Like you look down, you get a new piece of tech and you attach it right into your arm. And then, suddenly you've got the ability to harness electricity or cloak yourself or all kinds of different
unlimited power.
The art is just beautiful, the footage that we've seen. I wonder if you can talk to me a little bit about the world and what it means for it to be ever changing.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So that entity called the Tempest rearranges everything every single week.
So in other words, it's a dick.
The player with new playgrounds of movement and combat.
So you thought that you could go over here and purchase some electronics.
So
bam! Now it's on the other side of the map.
It has the potential to hide an enemy stronghold or a network of underground caverns or brand new tech to scout.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask, where can we go for more
I will give props, though.
Well, you can stay tuned by watching.
They're one-upping Microsoft.
The Facebook and Twitter with
at least in the sense of
VR,
they're showing a trailer. Someone's coming out to
games.
talk about it quickly.
I'm really looking forward to
and
it.
maybe you see a little gameplay.
Chad, once again, Oculus.com/.
Microsoft was literally just
Frankie's up in the
50 trailer or 12 trailers. Somebody comes out, talks about the next set.
It really is, Sean, because next up we've got a first look at a new game from publisher Raw Fury, a neo-noir detective drama.
I'm still saying Microsoft did better, but I'm saying they did this right with the game. They've got a trailer, somebody talking about it, and some gameplay.
So let's take a ride with the trailer.
Rating pending. Now this game kind of reminds me of White Knight.
Yeah, really. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. A cigarette.
A taxi game? Hopefully I'm just making that a joke.
A taxi near you. Come into a taxi near you.
Where to, buddy? Can I just sit in the back and play this taxi game while in the taxi? No.
Oh.
So it also looks like a story choice based game.
Yeah.
Night Call. Okay. Maybe we'll try that.
If you like that last game, you'll definitely love our next one. It's from the exact same publisher, Raw Fury. It's an open-world, narrative-focused game with an incredible art style. Let's take a look at Sable.
Sable?
That's what I thought they said. I was just going to ask you, did you hear what they said?
Sable. Oh.
Well, it does have an interesting art style. I mean, I guess I kind of like the art style.
I like the last one, but that's why I like this one. They don't look anything alike.
No, they don't.
Just because they're the same publisher doesn't mean nothing.
Really shows the different fields that they can go, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is like right field, and now all of a sudden we're like on left field. Yeah, I really don't know what to think about it.
Me neither. It's interesting.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, the art style looks interesting for sure. And as we learned here on Rose Play, Fire Moon Rose Play, any of the Rose Plays, graphics don't always mean anything.
Yeah.
Joining me to talk about Sable is pretty much the entire core development team on stage. It's Daniel Feinberg and Greg Kithriotis.
I was waiting for him to say the entire team.
What kind of game?
I was like, wow, two people.
Sable is an open-world desert exploration game. It's not a game about combat or about leveling up. It's a game about solitude, and it's a game about exploration. You play as Sable, a girl leaving her home to explore this world filled with monumental architecture, fallen spaceships, and you'll travel around on your hover bike learning about the people, the culture, and the history of this world.
And you know, I talked about it before. I think this art style is amazing. Where's the origins of this?
So we were really heavily inspired by the clear lines style of French and Belgian comics, as well as Japanese animation, particularly Studio Ghibli.
Well, there you go. It's kind of a mixture of a comic and an anime.
Wonder that you get from watching one of their films.
I mean, the
so
graphics.
From the very beginning, we knew that we really needed to nail the visual style. And yeah, so we put a lot of time and sort of effort into our rendering system.
What the heck?
And yeah, we're really pleased to be able to show it to everyone.
Or she has powers.
Looks it. Yeah, because she looked like she just got inside a fire
She flew off and
shield.
it looked like she was in a weird shield thing.
Yeah, so that was a new track by
that
Japanese
moon-looking
Breakfast.
thing
Oh, yeah, the T-shirt. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
right.
so
I guess technically it could be technology.
She is doing the soundtrack for the game. Japanese Breakfast is one of my favorite bands right now. It's incredible to have her on board.
It all just came together so beautifully in the trailer, and I know that you guys are really regular about updating, you know, blogs, sharing what's going on with the development. Where can people go to find more?
So they can go to our Twitter account, ShedWorksReg and ShedWorksDan, or to sablegame.com.
Lovely, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining me. Once again, the name of the game is Sable. Our next title is one that has been in development, even showing up in our very first PC gaming show. It's Cloud Imperium Games still hard at work on their title, Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Let's see what they have in store.
At least they come out and talk to it for a little bit and they move on.
Like I said, this is how Microsoft should have done it. They should have showed the game, brought somebody out to talk about it, maybe show a little bit more gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to say that Microsoft still didn't do better, but I'm going to say it's kind of borderline. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the PC games I'm not interested in, like Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like the games they showed off there. Like, if there was a lot more games that hit me, Microsoft might have had a challenge.
Yeah. They definitely have a way of not making it feel like it's 2 hours long, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're already... Well, how long does it say up there? I'm kind of blind.
An hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's already been an hour, and I mean, it feels like it has been lagging a little, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's been an hour.
Not as much as Microsoft. Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, that thing was boring.
It was. Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's been an hour. It feels like it might be like 45 minutes or something. Like I said, it feels like it's lagging on, but not as bad.
No, definitely not as bad. Freaking Microsoft felt like 3 hours.
Well, and like I said, that was their problem. They're like, we have 50 game trailers. Let's get to them. And it was like every 12 trailers, somebody would come out and talk again. It's like, I don't mind seeing the world premieres. I don't mind seeing these new games. But I want to hear from the developer. I want to hear what the game's about. I want to see maybe a little gameplay.
Coming up on the PC Gaming Show. All new gameplay footage of Just Cause 4.
Oh.
A closer look at The Walking
we might actually
Dead,
get gameplay.
The final season. All new gameplay
Walking
footage
Dead.
of Hitman. And now your host,
And Hitman.
Sean Plott.
Dude, this should be a good section.
As we do each year at the PC Gaming Show, in addition to talking about games, we're also going to talk about some of the upcoming hardware trends.
Just Cause.
Talking about it is the senior brand manager from
Walking
Acer.
Dead final
Eric
season
Thanks
and
for joining me
Hitman.
up here,
I mean,
Eric.
Sean, really
come
excited
on.
to be here.
You
Now,
can't go
I
wrong
just
with any of
wanna
those
straight up ask,
three.
what are some of the big
I mean, even if
trends
I
that
don't really know
consumers
much
can be
about it.
expecting right now?
Well, right
Just
now
Cause.
we're developing some new products, particularly in the display space. We want to take the experience to the next level. To help with that, one of our new products is the Predator X27. It's an incredible gaming display. For instance, it's 4K and 120 hertz refresh.
It's,
users can overclock to 144.
It's at one of our
what really
stores.
takes it over to the next
That's in
level
our
is the
town.
inclusion of G-Sync
The monitor.
HDR.
It actually looks
I hear a lot
amazingly
about
nice.
HDR.
I
Can
will
you explain a
vouch
little
for it
more in
looking
detail
great.
what that is and what that means?
Well, there's quite a bit that goes into it, but for the purpose of this conversation,
Plus,
the
it's a
fact that
27
there are
inch.
384 individual backlit zones, so the backlighting can be individually controlled, really bright, very dark. It makes a better contrast on screen. Each of them are individually controlled. The brightness of the screen is far above a typical display. Typical, you're looking at 300 to 400 nits. We're looking at 600 with the Predator X27 with a max of 1,000 nits.
And you know, some of the titles that were
1,000,
showcased
wow.
just now, there's a wide variety of some photorealistic, some with a really iconic art style. How does HDR contribute to that big range we see in gaming?
Well, one of the big things that helps is the color gamut that's available with these displays. We're able to do 99% of the Adobe color gamut, so it's better representing the vision of the art director.
Yeah, and some of the games that you see on screen that support HDR, Mass Effect Andromeda, Far Cry 4, Ni no Kuni 2. Again, you won't see them in HDR right now unless you have an HDR monitor. It doesn't work that way. We can't just stream it to you. But, you know, it brings me to one of my next questions about PC gamers tend to have a huge range of possible budgets. What are the different sort of products to look for at those price ranges?
Well, I mean, we cover the gamut from very simple and to the point to high performance esports products or multi-view, surround, multi-display products. But we also go really crazy sometimes. We decide, we put our engineers to the test. What can you do if you have no limit? So one of the projects
they have a lot of
is something called
partners.
the Predator 21X.
Yeah, they do.
This is a 21-inch curved screen display.
I mean, I always say
laptop with a mechanical
PC is the
keyboard,
master
graphics cards,
for
science,
gamers. So.
materials. We did a really good thing. But you know what? To be serious, not just to joke, we actually have to ship this with a Pelican case to protect the laptop, and it sells for $9,000. And we sold every single unit we could make.
Yeah,
So
no,
we
the
cover
Predator that
every
I saw at
spectrum
the
of
store
gaming.
at one of our
You know, you
stores,
brought up this
the
Predator
monitor
laptop,
is
you brought up the Predator monitors at
500.
the start of this segment. Where can people
The
go to hear
tower
more about
is
or even
1,200,
pick one up once they stop.
and the mouse and keyboard are like 50
the good
bucks
news
a
is
piece.
that we're shipping now. Our customers,
Yeah, you're spending
partners
about
are selling them.
2,000.
The bad news is a few have already sold out of this new Predator X27 monitor.
But
I
from
believe
what
Micro
I've
Center
seen of
is
it,
still in
it
stock.
looks well
Amazon will
worth
be in
it.
stock again soon.
That's good.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on
So I will
stage,
definitely take a second to promote Predator
awaiting in
here,
the balcony
since I've seen a
with
little
our
bit of
very
it, since
next title.
I always like to check it out when we
PC
go
has
to
always
the
been
game
the
stores and
platform
stuff.
for crazy ideas. In our next game, Genesis Alpha 1, you build and manage a space vessel, farm resources, deal with terrifying alien infestations,
I want to hear about Just Cause.
randomly generated universe.
I want to hear
and
about
you can take DNA from the
Hitman.
aliens you encounter
I want to
across the
hear
galaxy,
about Walking
splice them with
Dead.
members of your crew to create new life forms.
You said it was
Just a
coming
typical
up.
day at the office.
Shut up and give me
Let's
it.
take a look.
Greetings, Commander. You have been sent to Quadrant Alpha 1. The mission is to find a new home for the crew on board of this ship.
So in other words, it's Mass Effect
Expand your
Andromeda.
ship and explore the galaxy for resources and interesting new life forms. Feel free to experiment with DNA and alien abilities to maximize crew efficiency. Ready
Hey, look!
Weapons.
It's Slender Man's race.
Oh my gosh. It's the flood.
It's the flood. Not the flood, it's the flood. They didn't want copyright infringement.
So they're aliens that have the flu?
Yeah.
The flu.
Now, if you didn't catch the pre-show quiz, you might be wondering who my buddy is. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is Webster from Drake's Cakes, one of the PC Gaming Show's sponsors this year. And he's got a cool competition for you. The Drake's Cakes PAX giveaway. Oh, yes. PAX is a gathering of PC and tabletop games, concerts, panels, exhibits.
This is sadly probably the best part of the show so far.
LAN party, festival, workshop, and concert rolled into one. The very lucky winner will enjoy a trip to PAX West, including 2 tickets and a free trip to Seattle. So if that's you, hit me up on those dates, because I am free.
So awesome.
Webster, my man duck, this is very generous of you indeed. And by entering those, you will get a discount code to get your hands on some delicious Drake's Cakes available
I think
on
it's a
Amazon.
guy, but
And
you never know.
E3 itself, don't forget you can meet Webster in person at the E3 conference.
All I know is he really is into the character.
Tasty treats all week. So if you see him, give him a fist bump on my behalf. I'll take one now. Thank you very much, Webster. So if
Howard
you
the
have a
Duck.
dreamt of spending a weekend knee-deep in one of Earth's best gaming festivals, visit pcgamer.com/Drake's Cakes and enter now for a chance to win and hang out with Webster. All right, Webster, all this hosting has
I mean, they had to pan out.
How about we look at a trailer
Drake
for
is
the
so
next
huge.
edition of Clay Entertainment's beloved
Or
survival
Webster is so
series,
huge.
Don't Starve, Hamlet.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Don't Starve. I know it's on the console. I don't know. It sort of interests me, but at the same time it sort of doesn't. That's why I haven't really tried it. It's like a survival game. Like, you go out into the wilderness, you have to camp, get firewood, weapons, you know, stuff like that. I will agree with that. Yeah, like they got Tim Burton to do all of this. Cue the Beetlejuice music.
Our next title is the next installment in a series that never fails to make me laugh.
Walking
It's
Dead?
Just Cause 4.
Oh.
And they
Duh,
have
he
a
said makes
brand
me
new
laugh.
engine to
I'm
bring
pretty
the
sure
level of
Walking Dead
delicious
doesn't always
insanity
make him
one
laugh.
notch up. Let's take a look
Especially
at what
like
the
the end
Apex
of
engine
season
in Just
1.
Cause 4 can really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get a little bit of gameplay, which we've not seen. Like I said, I'm still on the wall on whether or not I like Just Cause.
I don't know. I haven't played it enough.
Neither have I. And I said, hey! What a wonderful day for storms! Oh wow, that looks like at least though.
That does.
I was gonna say this wasn't quite the gameplay I was expecting.
To talk about it on
Unless
stage now.
It's coming now.
From Avalanche Studios, it's Francesco.
It was at least.
Francesco Antolini and Adam Davidson. Gentlemen, welcome. Talk to me about the tornado.
It's fantastic, isn't it? So it's a very nice piece of tech. It's not just beautiful, but thanks to Apex, it's also a bad boy that actually works. It's fully physicalized.
Wow. Yeah.
This means that it's roaming the world, wreaking havoc, and
it's not just like a background piece. It's actually impacting the world before you.
This is just cause, man. You go there and you play with it. Yeah.
You know, throughout the trailers that I've seen, there seems to be a lot of different environments that are available throughout. Can you talk to me about those?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most important things to us with this installment of Just Cause was bringing a lot more variety into the game, and that extends to a lot of things, but certainly the biomes of the game. So instead of one kind of region of, like, say, southern Italy, like we had last time, now you have lush rainforests, deserts, grassland, and even alpine biomes, all of which, you know, are rendered beautifully with the new Apex engine.
Now, something that's very important to me is some of my favorite features from Just Cause 3. Can you talk to me about, like, the wingsuit and the grappling hooks? Like, are those coming back in Just Cause 4?
Everything you love from Just Cause 3 is back.
Good.
But everything is also...
I guess if you like stuff in 3, you'll get it in 4.
For example, the grappling hook is completely customizable.
I kind of figured
the combat model has been completely...
A lot of games are doing that. Like, Batman did it too. Batman was like, hey, remember all the items you had from Arkham Asylum? They're back. We're improving them to upgrade.
The wind that we saw from the tornadoes, is just like basic wind effects also get incorporated as well?
Again, it just goes, so nothing, just an effect. So if there is wind, it's physics and acts with your parachute, grappling hook, and the rest. Yeah.
Well, where can people go to get some, we'll call it first-hand footage of what Just Cause 4 can deliver?
They can check it out at justcause.com/E3 and for 3 days.
That's right. Believe it or not, E3 hasn't started yet. Starts tomorrow, so June 12th through 14th. You can check it out. Thanks so much for joining us on stage. I look forward to the hilarity of Just Cause 4. Now, our next title is one of my all-time favorite IPs. I can't wait for Frankie to talk to you about The Walking Dead.
Yep.
I was waiting for that or Hitman.
And Starbreeze are the creators of Payday and Payday 2. Therefore, it goes without saying that these studios are some of the most talented makers of cooperative shooters, and their next one is set in a familiar but new apocalyptic Washington, D.C. Here's the first gameplay footage for Overkill's The Walking Dead. And keep your eyes
it's a different Walking Dead.
At the end.
It's not even the Telltale one yet.
Oh.
Yeah, you remember the game Payday that we played? This is from them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued.
We were so many things. Husbands and wives, doctors and teachers, writers and architects. But when the world ended, all that ended too. Every day we fight for more than survival. We fight to build a new life.
Oh, they let the zombies out.
I know, right? I would have just been sitting there poking them in the head through the fence like in the season.
No, you gotta go find a cure.
We're weak.
And then poke them with it.
Good luck with that.
But together,
okay, let's spray them.
We might
no, I meant good luck finding a cure at this point when 90% of the population is dead.
I guess. Just gotta have fun.
Gotta have fun. November 6th. Alright.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I have more good news. For fans of The Walking Dead, Overkill's game for The Walking Dead, of course, coming soon, but we have a second completely different Walking Dead game that we're getting the chance to talk about right now. This is Telltale's The Walking Dead, the final season. Joining me on stage to talk about it is the lead writer, James Windler, and the voice of Clementine herself, Melissa Hutchison.
Oh, damn.
Which she is also a voice actress in The Wolf Among Us, too, I believe.
Sean.
Oh,
Thanks for joining me on the stage.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Now, I want to ask right away for, people who've played through the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, in terms of the gameplay, what's some of the familiar and what's some of the new?
Okay, so for people who don't know Telltale, we are a story-based company. We focus on narrative.
I feel like there isn't many people who at least haven't heard of Telltale at this
the
point.
old school point-and-click adventure games, but we've developed our own cinematic style and almost a signature mechanic, like our choice wheel.
Yeah. God, Clementine has grown up so much.
That should be, the choices branch the narrative. What's new this year, we have traditionally combat and action we've done with QTEs like swipes and button mashes and all of that. This year with the final season we're introducing
so in other words, it's like Batman
segments
now.
of unscripted combat.
Yeah, we see some of this right here.
Yeah, so Clem probably just brutalized a zombie there.
Probably just brutalized the zombie here.
Oh yeah, so we also have the orbital cam, like the over-the-shoulder camera. So that's offering our players opportunities to explore our environments, which you can also see from the B-roll. Is they're looking really, really good with this graphic black art style that we're employing.
Yeah, because in the previous games it was much more of a directed camera from scene to scene, but now you can really sort of explore the environment on your own.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah.
Now I want to ask about the story. I mean, Telltale games always have that as the central feature. Where does The Walking Dead, the final season, start off?
Okay, so it starts, Clementine has been on the road for a long time. We are post-time jump in the comics. She's been on the road. She's traveling with AJ, who is an orphan boy, who is the closest thing that she has to family. But they're reaching the end of it. They are running out of steam on the road. It's proving to be untenable. So the final season, Clementine discovers a school, a secluded school, where there are no adults, and essentially sees that this might be a place that they could call home.
Yeah, and what are the sort of challenges that she's going to face throughout the season?
Oh, all kinds of challenges, yeah. Like zombie threat all the time.
Tough.
Yeah, of course. And then there's always the external threat, at some point there are going to be adults coming in representing external threats that she's going to have to deal with.
Now, Melissa, I want to ask what your experience has been like, because it's rare to have, a voice actress journey along with a character in a multi-year journey. I mean, how long ago was the first recording that you did?
Well, it was 2012, but we might have even started in 2011. I don't know.
We're not going to do math on air.
Yeah, we're
That's
not
always
doing
a
math.
bad idea.
That's not happening right now. It's been a long time, and it's not only just playing one character. It's actually been aging with her, growing with her, and falling deeper and deeper in love with her, and starting as this young child who's playing as Lee. It's your job.
Yeah,
to
she has come
her,
a long
and
way.
organically moving through all these seasons, and now you're playing as Clementine. I mean, really, this is a fan-driven game, so this final season is for the fans, and you're going to be playing as Clementine
until they kill her at the end, and then there's outrage.
How do you feel about the fact that this is the end?
Well, I mean, it's bittersweet. I'm super sad. I'm super psyched. Of course, it'll be sad to end her journey, but I'm really looking forward. Obviously, I'm surrounded by talent with Telltale Games, and I have no doubt that the writers and the creatives are going to crush it. So sad but happy. It's all very confusing. I'm a very confused human right now. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I'm someone who's played through all of the Telltale Walking Dead.
Melissa will remember this.
When the final season is coming out.
August 14th. We ship August 14th, and it's available for pre-order right now.
Finish Clementine's
Be sure to check
story.
it out. Thank you so much for joining me on stage today. Once again, that's the Walking Dead Game.com.
Which definitely we've got to get started on 3 here at some point in Rose Play.
For our next title, Frankie, we're going to head back to you on the balcony.
Next up, have I got a treat for you. Coming straight out of Finland from Nolla Games, it's a magical action roguelike that asks, is that a wand in your pocket? Or are you just trying to kill me? Don't let the retro art style fool you.
I think I'm just trying to kill you.
It's a procedurally generated world where every pixel is physically simulated. Let's take a look.
Weird. Nolla Games. It kind of almost reminds me a little bit of 101 Ways to Die.
Huh.
Except weirder.
Oh wow.
And Limbo.
Yeah, this really well. It also looks very puzzled.
Yeah, it does.
Ugh.
Wish list now on Steam.
Our next title is one that's very near and dear to my heart, as it is the spiritual successor to one of my favorite childhood games, Theme Hospital. Joining me to talk about it are the two founders of 2 Point Studios to talk about 2 Point Hospital. Join me in welcoming Dr. Webley and Dr. Carr.
I feel like they're probably not real doctors.
Great suits. I know, I gotta ask, as two fully trained medical professionals, how does one run a hospital in 2 Point Hospital?
Whoa.
Wait, oh my gosh, is the stethoscope eliminating your microphone? Oh, you know what? We do this every year. Come here, talk to me.
Okay.
How do we run a hospital?
So 2 Point Hospital is a game about designing and building your own hospital.
So apparently the stethoscope cancels out of mic.
Yeah, listen, you said don't talk there.
Yeah.
Don't look out here, you said.
Yeah, no, just look straight at the ground.
There's a lot of customization. Is this not working at all?
Yeah, it's great.
It's like the Sims hospital.
I'll carry on then. Yeah, a lot of
Pretty
customization,
much.
a lot of interesting characters in our world, which, with all these different characters, we had to come up with some really interesting illnesses and cures for them. And,
I think the body's falling apart.
County exploring different
That's
regions
weird.
and curing people with
What
different
the
ailments.
heck?
And as you can see on the
Oh,
screen,
no.
we've got. This is real. We actually
Did he just
researched
stab
this.
a needle up
It's,
somebody's
a certain animal. And also you can
butt?
train
That's what it
people.
looked like.
Hole?
You can train your doctors to be better, your nurses
Yeah,
to
no,
be better.
I'm going with it
Do
went up his
research
butthole.
So you can unlock new
Either way,
wonderful
not a
cures.
hospital I want to go to.
You know,
everything
Now it was
Sorry,
curing
I
cancer.
like it. I was a bit backfilling. Carry on.
So,
Then I guess I take
tell
the
me about it,
needle
like,
off the butt.
what is the sort of late game sort of experience that you'll be playing through? Because this looks like it's quite deep into the running of a hospital.
Yeah, this is later on. So you start off and you're
They must fix the mic.
researching and you're training up staff, you're diagnosing
Maybe
illnesses,
that's why he hugged him.
and
Maybe.
hopefully curing them and making money.
Either that or he turned it off.
I see this
It almost sounds like he
malady.
doesn't have a
Yeah, I see
mic.
this malady called turtle head. Can you explain a little
yes.
bit about what that is?
Yes. It's when the head becomes so shrunken, it gets stuck in the neck orifice, just pops out
Oh,
slightly,
wow.
and it has to be extracted. And Mark, how's it get
well,
extracted?
this is something you've maybe we've all been there. I know. This is one where
Yes, we've all
a
been
little bit of
there.
suction always helps. And
Where we need it in your head.
And out it comes.
No, where we need to pull our head out of
We
our
had to
neck.
research how to do that.
Oh.
that's actually a real illness. From
Yeah, it is. It's
northern
real.
England.
Now, I had to ask
That's
about
weird.
something that I think every young man has to deal with at some
No,
point.
that puts
What is
oil
a
on my head over
monobrow
there.
infestation?
Yeah. Well,
Huh.
monobrow is
Follically enhanced.
Yes.
Problem.
We've
all
also
been there.
really
Yeah.
stretching their
I
neck to
haven't.
make
No,
a
okay.
face, which is really
But
weird.
yeah,
Could
it needs
be.
to be diagnosed and cured pretty quickly. If it doesn't, it'll
Turtleneck.
fester. And,
I know,
you
what
might
an illness.
shed, a bit of hair, and in fact,
It will actually leave the body, and it needs to be got rid of before the health inspectors arrive.
It looks like the monobrows are multiplying in the hospital.
They breed they're big breeders. The monobrows.
they like
monobeasts.
they like dirty places. Disgusting.
So they're dirty, dirty brows?
Clean and well maintained.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to breed and you'll have a trouble.
I want to ask about sort of how
that's
the
what
game
you like to see in a
evolves
hospital,
over time.
kill
Theme
streaks.
Hospital was very mission-based. How does the experience of running a hospital change as the game goes on?
Yeah, so once you started your first hospital, it's a pretty simple affair, and then you move on through 2 Point County. There's different regions. There's a cold region. There's warm regions with contagious diseases, and there's
poor regions, there's rich regions.
Well. Yeah. So we've got volcanoes.
Yeah.
In fact.
We've got all sorts of wonderful. Weird effects can happen in different parts of the world.
So you might struggle to manage your hospital empire because a volcano went off nearby.
Yeah, it's about spinning plates, isn't it? You've got everything set up nicely, and then...
I'm sorry, if a volcano goes off near my hospital, I'm getting everybody out.
More information about when 2 Point Hospital is coming out.
Yeah, we'll protect you from the
Well, we're coming out
volcano.
Fall, and you can check us out by going onto our Steam page and hopefully wish listing. Yeah. And we're coming later in the year.
We're told.
No.
Well, I'm personally, again, really looking forward to it coming out. Thanks so much for joining me, Doctor and Doctor.
Thank you.
Talk about 2 Point Hospital.
Thank you, Doctor and Doctor.
Now, our second Battle Royale game of the afternoon takes a fantasy RPG-esque bent, and you may have even seen it getting streamed on Twitch in the previous week. Let's take a look at Hi-Rez's Realm Royale.
Oh, okay. So this is the people who did Paladin. Now they're doing their own Battle Royale. Which, I mean, at least does look fun.
Did he just make it die?
I think he did. He like fabled that thing.
Joining me to talk about Realm Royale is the executive producer at Hi-Rez Studios. It's Rory Newbrough, a.k.a. Dry Bear, Mr. Dry Bear. What separates Realm Royale from other types of Battle Royale games in the genre?
That's a good question. So before you go up into the air and determine where you land on the map, you'll actually choose from a list of fantasy classes like Mage, or Hunter, or Assassin, and specify a unique play style before you land.
How do these different classes work?
So the Engineer will be more about bunkering down, putting up shields, putting down turrets. The Assassin will get behind the lines using stealth, use a sniper rifle to take out targets. And the Warrior will just jump in there throwing axes and being crazy.
And, in some of the streams that I've watched, it also seemed like there were abilities, not just the loot and find stuff. Can you talk to me about?
Except this time you can activate the horse whenever you want.
Once you choose a class, it'll come with a set of abilities.
So you can just bring the horse out and
but it specifies
go
your
across
play
the map.
style. And so as you're looting, abilities as well as armor and weapons will come out of the chests.
Okay.
You'll start equipping that and determining the play style you want, and so you can just really specify.
And you mentioned this a little bit. I've seen it on stream. Talk to me about crafting in the game. I mean, how does crafting work in a game where there's a
so when you kill your opponent, they don't die right away.
So
they turn into chicken.
There are places called
if you make
forges,
it 60 seconds,
and so once you go to the
come
forge,
back,
you'll collect shards
or
and
if one of your
disenchanting loot you find as you're going about. And you'll use
or
these
somebody
shards
who wants
to
to
start
help
crafting
you comes
legendary
over
gear,
and
very powerful pieces that everyone will want.
Yeah.
Once you start the forge, a smokestack will appear above the forge, and everyone comes over to fight.
Like a mini objective, even.
Big team fight.
So I know that Realm Royale is currently available for free on Steam, but I hear that you have some goodies
looks like a lot
people
bigger
can check
map.
out that are E3 exclusive.
That's right. So free on Steam, we're actually out for less than a week now, and we were already number 4 on Steam charts. And this week at E3, through Mixer, if you stream on Mixer and you're playing, the streamer that gets closest to the Crown Royale will enter into the hype zone, and so everyone will see you you'll be featured on the main page of Mixer. You'll have a chance to win the Jailbird chicken skin, which is our first piece of cosmetic. It's a little chicken with like a little jailbird, prisoner
it is
outfit
cute.
that just box around. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and if you don't know the chicken mechanic, seriously, please look it up right now. Rory, thanks so much for joining me on stage to talk about Realm Royale once again.
Watch is blinding
right now. Our next game is one that was shown at last year's PC Gaming Show, and Frankie has some updates of what they've been up to.
Yes, John, as you may remember, our next game is made by a core team of just 2 people. It's called Ooblets, and it's a farming and creature collecting indie inspired by Pokemon, Harvest Moon, and Animal Crossing. This fresh trailer features a first look at their unique combat system, along with plenty of cute Ooblets and environments.
Ooblets.
Oh.
I dropped my ice cream, Mommy. A dance-off game. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't look creepy at all.
No, definitely seems like some Japanese stuff.
It's not though. Double Fine is an American company.
Well, that's even weirder. The Japanese are still living.
I'm almost
American
Japanese. I'm almost certain now.
Japanese that live in America. Okay,
if I'm right, the guy.
Like anime.
If I'm right, the guy who does it is Tim Schafer.
Oh.
That's about as non-Japanese sounding as you can get. I don't know. Ooblets and Xbox One.
Yeah,
now, it wouldn't be a PC gaming show without a dash of strategy, which is why I'm delighted that we get the chance to share with you the next in the Anno games. Let's take a look at Anno 1880.
Anno.
Oh look, Ubisoft.
Doesn't look more like Assassin's Creed than Assassin's Creed.
I know, right? Welcome to non-Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed. Sea of Solitude, thieves.
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow.
Joining me on the stage to talk about it is the executive producer, Burkhard Rathheiser, and community developer, Bastian Thun.
Bastian Thun? Oh my gosh.
Gentlemen, welcome to the stage.
Maybe he'll be taller than him.
I want to begin right away by asking, for people who haven't seen or experienced the Anno series, what are these types of games like?
Yeah, well, Anno 1800 is a PC only real-time strategy
game. Put their shoulders together and
it's kind of mixing
like a half an inch taller.
City building together with economic simulation and naval warfare.
What the
and
heck?
at its core, it's a sandbox
see, you can
game.
tell he's a little bit.
So you have
he's a little bit
a vast amount of freedom to explore.
So tall,
explore the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the host that can't be beat size-wise.
Why the choice of the 19th century for this game?
Well, the 19th century it's such an interesting and rich era. There was so much happening in this era. Yeah. So we had two industrial revolutions. We had major scientific inventions. And also big social changes, and also the creation of the big imperial empires. So it's a really rich era.
And what are some of the elements that we'll get to see from the 19th century in Anno 1800?
So it's kind of, for the player, it's, well, basically you start with the first kind of medieval settlements.
And somehow it still looks more Assassin's Creed.
Through the 19th century. Right. So it's kind of, you explore everything that kind of happened in this rich era.
And I understand
Forest
that
simulator.
You have a very unique take on how to work with
Only
the community, how to gather
can
feedback.
cause forest
talk
fire.
to me about what is Anno Union?
Aren't you just saying preventing them?
Last year at Gamescom, when we actually revealed the game, we decided on, it's pre-alpha, revealed the game. We invited the community to basically become a member of our development team. So we launched our Anno Union platform. It's a place where we give constant weekly updates on the current development and invite players to give feedback and
only you can prevent forest fires that you started.
Exactly how some choices have been steered by the community.
So there's a lot of different stuff we did. So like from the feedback we got on our blogs and focus playtests where invited players. We got so much great feedback, which had to completely rebalance the mid and late game of the game. Also, we heavily expanded on core features of the game based on feedback. We said like, okay, that really seems to work. Players like that, so okay, let's do it like improve the quality a little bit even more.
Yeah.
But they can also vote on actual game content. So we had a big vote for an AI opponent in the game, for a community creation contest where they could create their own island and stuff like that.
And I understand that some of this footage that you're sharing right now is pieces that people can.
I mean, the shirts at least make sense because they're trying to promote their game.
Now. Exactly. So
I guess the pants because there isn't that many different variations of pants.
Check out, we have a vote up where you can vote on one of 5 ships in the game. And that's only
Wonder
the first
Twin
stage,
powers,
because in the second
activate!
stage, we will allow you to design your own ship variant. So the winner of that first vote, then you can design, hand in your own design nodes, drawings, 3D models, whatever you like. And the winner of that contest will actually make it into the game.
Yeah.
Now, where is the website that people can go to again to get the most information right now?
Yeah, just check out anno-union.com. That's basically our big community platform, and we want to invite especially strategy gamers, PC players out there to come help us developing the game, sharing feedback. Just check it out.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining me on stage to talk about Anno 1800. Our next title is the final battle royale of the night, and Frankie is going to be talking about it, and it's a little bit, maybe not what you'd expect.
Publisher TinyBuild is known for discovering distinctive indie developers and bringing their quirky ideas to the fore, with Cluster Truck, Speedrunners and Hello Neighbor among their catalogue of hits. And now I'm delighted to be able to bring you the world-exclusive reveal of a game developed by Galvanic Games in cooperation with Explosion. Inspired by the Cyanide and Happiness webcomic, Raptor Rejects is battle royale as you've never seen one before, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. Top-down, isometric, cartoony, and basically bonkers. Let's take a look at what happens when the man upstairs
Every side's my good side.
All the bad people. Introducing Raptor Rejects.
Weird.
Alright, our third and final battle royale.
Yay. Oh.
Explosionism? Oh, what the crap?
Dear God, every day I strive to be closer to your light. I pray that when Judgment Day, that most holiest of days, comes upon us, when you bring all the good people to heaven, that I may live in eternal glory by your side. Amen.
Weird.
I think that's aliens.
Either aliens or gods. Take your pick. Then his friend gets taken, right? Wow.
Thanks, brah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, he's like, those holier days, I'll be with you.
Oh my god.
Raptor Reject? Okay, I could get into this Battle Royale game. Just because it's not taking itself serious.
Oh my gosh, what the hell?
Get down here this instant! You didn't break the leaves!
Smell you later, you old bag!
Well, what did you expect? You just knocked off your wife, I think, and called her a bag. I'd be like, nope. So it was God.
Get down here, you gotta
I can't believe we got to show that trailer. That's so great.
That's funny.
I like that game.
Our final game that we'll be showcasing this evening is from perhaps the most famous stealth action franchise in gaming, the Hitman series.
Yes.
Let's take a look at a brand new trailer from Hitman 2.
Yay!
I don't even know why they're calling it Hitman 2. They could have just said Season 2, since there was technically already a Hitman 2. So to be fair, I don't think they called it Hitman 2. I think it was Hitman Contract.
Welcome to Miami, 47. The innovation race is on its last day, and it is down to the wire. The Providence defectors are Robert and Sierra Knox. A day of high-octane thrills and 2 very public targets.
Oh, that's me.
Oh. Wow. When we said to cut it out.
Oh, fish. Oh my gosh.
A robotic arm.
They totally made it where you can have more stuff to throw at them. Wow. That's neat.
November 13th this year.
Wow, that was neat. Especially the race car.
Yeah, I know the race car is.
Joining me to talk about
I wish they
Hitman
do a
2
train
is
one.
game director from IO Interactive, Jacob Mickelson. Join me up here, Jacob. Come on out, we gotta talk. Assassination.
Hey, Sean.
Welcome, Jacob. Thanks for joining me. I mean,
think
right
so.
away. Tell
I mean,
me
just about
what
everybody
is
was.
47 doing in Miami?
Well, he's there to pay a visit to Sharon Robert Knox, who are part of the Kronstadt Empire. And yeah, we all know how that ends,
Is
right?
the game director.
Well, given that it's a Hitman game, I have some hints. And, you know, I always felt like in the Hitman games, the environment was so critical, trying to study and trying to understand it. What are some of the elements in Miami that will show up in Hitman 2?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Miami is, I think it's one
He
of
was
the
trying to
biggest
take a
things we've ever
vacation
created
until they
in
called
the
him to
game.
kill
And
people.
in Miami, we have, of course, the race as the centerpiece.
Yeah.
But being this super high-detailed sandbox, we also go to great lengths to actually create all the surrounding bits and pieces, like you have here, backstage area. Of course, we also have that in Miami. So pits and paddocks, there's an emergency room, and so on. So all the facilities needed in order for you to kind of make your own way through the mission and take advantage of the locations and all the different disguises and items you stumble upon as you move in closer to your targets.
Like
in terms of mechanics, I know that there's going to be a lot of the familiar feels, but
Except
what are some
better.
of the brand new mechanics that are in?
Some of the new stuff is, for instance, the crowds we just saw here in Miami. First of all, there's more than ever.
Yeah,
we're close to 2,000 people now in the scenes, and on top of that, we also introduced a new crowd mechanic where you can dip into the crowd if you get in trouble. So as long as they are not fleeing or running away, then they're there for you to hide in. So in case you get chased by guards. Another new thing is the picture-in-picture mechanic where you get information about what's going on other places in the level. So if you're setting up traps and stuff like that, you can kind of keep track of where the important characters are. And last but not least, we have the fan favorite, which is the sniper briefcase is back. But this time it's not only for sniper rifles, it's also for all the other things you want to carry around kind of without causing too much attention to yourself.
And I want to ask about some of the weapons and the disguises that have been showing up throughout these trailers.
Yeah, we go to great lengths. I think the theme of this showing is going to be the fish. It's really it's a studio favorite.
It's a studio
a lot of laughs,
favorite.
that, right? And then, of course, you just saw it in the kitchen as a frying pan. So we all know the kitchen is the most dangerous room in your house, right?
Oh yeah, there's like 5 billion deadly weapons in the kitchen.
And I want to ask about some of my favorite content from Hitman, things like elusive targets, limited time events. Will those be making a comeback?
Absolutely. So there's still going to be escalations for you to kind of challenge the game in many different ways. There's going to be challenge packs, again, new challenge for you. And then, of course, the elusive targets that pop up for a short period of time only. And you have one shot at this or, go bust.
As my final question, the expected question, when does Hitman 2 come out?
Hitman 2
It
comes
said
out
it already.
November 13, and if you pre-order right now, you also get access to
I guess so. It was kind of in small font, so I guess I can
47,
understand.
And also,
Probably
the first time in the
people
franchise,
miss
you
it,
could
though.
play along with a
There's
friend
always
in the
people that
co-op
miss
mode.
it.
True.
Jacob, thank you so much for coming out. I'm super looking forward to Hitman 2.
Thank you.
I might be the worst Hitman ever, but I try hard. Now, Jacob, I'm going to thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to escort you off to the right. So you're going to rush off this way, because coming in from the left, for the first time ever, vaguely nearby me, it's the co-host, Frankie. Come here, Frankie.
They let me come down from the balcony for good behavior.
Excellent.
For good behavior?
Well, Frankie, we did it. The PC Gaming Show is done. Thank you so much for joining us to host this year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
She didn't really
Thanks to all
host as
you
much as she
who
got
came
thrown
out
up
to
in
the
the
Wiltern
balcony.
and joined us today. It was a blast. Thanks
I mean,
to
she
Twitch
literally
chat,
got thrown
I
up
know
into the
that everything
balcony
you
to
said
talk
was
about a few
appropriate
things
and
here and
intelligently
there.
thought out.
That honestly looked like he was trying to shake her
And
hand.
of course, this
It
year
did.
we're curating even more great PC games.
It looked
from
like
the
she was
Facebook
like,
booth
no.
in E3 South
Yeah, like he
Hall. Last,
looked like he was
and
ready
of
to shake
course,
her
not
hand, and then
least,
he kind of
a
looked
huge
like
thank
he
you to all our
went
wonderful
like this,
sponsors
like,
who let
oh,
the PC Gaming Show come back for a fourth straight year. They are
she's not gonna shake my hand.
Hi-Res
How
Studios,
woo.
Digital Extremes, Archangel Hellfire, Team 17, Stardock Entertainment, Acer, Predator, Improbable, Oculus Rift, Drake's Cakes, Tripwire, Frontier Developments, and Square Enix. We hope you have a wonderful E3 and go play some damn video games. Cheers.
Thank you.
I love that. Now go play some damn video games. I love that ending. Now go play some damn games, you damn dirty ape.
Oh no, they hugged.
Yeah, they hugged. Not a handshake, but we can apparently hug.
Weird. I don't know. Maybe they weren't going for the handshake.
Maybe.
I don't know. Looked to me like it.
Alright, we'll let that. Close enough. We'll let that go ahead and finish. I don't know.
Okay.
Alright. So, what did you think of the PC gaming?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't as boring as I thought it'd be, actually.
Yeah, especially for how long it lasted.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't last actual 2 hours, but, I mean, like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, no, it wasn't as bad. I agree with that. I think there were a few good games. I think the host was at least energetic enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, like I said, I think they had the formula right. Trailer, talking, maybe a little gameplay on the side.
Yeah.
Something Microsoft missed the point of. Like you said, it didn't feel like it was dragging on as much towards the beginning, but it did start to feel like it towards the end.
Mhm. Definitely.
Otherwise, I think the biggest hits was probably The Walking Dead for me and Hitman.
Yeah, most likely. But I definitely think it did better than Microsoft.
Do you?
Yep.
I want to agree with you, I really do. But it's the major issue for me is that I do feel like Microsoft did have a lot of the better games, though.
I don't. I saw way more on this one than I did on Microsoft.
Alright.
So
then I guess it comes down to what would you rate this one?
an 8.
An 8? Wow. I was going to give it a 5. I just kind of felt average. And again, I think a lot of that is due to there wasn't as many games that interest me.
Yeah.
But since you gave it an 8, I'll be a little bit more generous and give it a 6.5. So we'll say a 7.25.
Alright.
7 1/4. 7 1/4. So yeah, no, I mean, at least I was fearing this one because of the fact that I knew it was long. Really, like you said, it didn't feel that bad.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I'm okay with it, I suppose. So, when we come back, we have 2 episodes left. We have the Sony press conference next, followed by Nintendo, and then we got an Adams Review Corner to throw in there somewhere. I think it's after those 2.
Mhm.
Then we'll have a top 3 press conferences, and the top 5 games that we thought were the best, in our opinion, for E3.
Mhm.
But other than that, this has gone on long enough, so we'll go ahead and let you guys go. Come back next time for the Sony press conference. And remember, keep gaming, never give up, and if you really want to just host the show by yourself, just throw your co-host up into the balcony, because apparently that's what they did.
Yep.